Hi there, my name's June Morrow, and I help 9-to-5ers build purpose-driven, service-based businesses so that they can do what they love full-time and make the difference they came to this planet to make. So if you're starting a business, it can be so overwhelming. I get it, 100%. I am currently, as I shoot this video, in about my 8th month as a full-time entrepreneur. And before that, I spent about 3 years doing my coaching business and teaching business part-time. And I know how overwhelming it can be. I know how it can seem like there's always too much to do. And as soon as you get one thing done, another thing comes up. And that's why I wanted to start this video series that I'm launching today called The 10 Commandments for New Service-Based Entrepreneurs. Because I wanted to share everything, the most difficult lessons that I've learned over the past 4 years so that you don't have to go through them. And I'm going to start with the first commandment in just a second. But if you think this video series will be helpful for you, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button right now. And before we start with the first commandment, I just want to give you some background information on where it came from and how it happened. So my first year of business, I was a dating coach. I wasn't a business coach back then. I was a dating coach. And I thought, I need a website, right? So I only had so much free time. I was working a corporate job, very busy one. So on the weekends, I would spend all my weekends at my desk figuring out how to put together the perfect website. And then I realized, oh wait, a website isn't enough. I need a lead magnet. And then because I had a lead magnet, I needed an opt-in. I needed a pop-up on my website where people could see the lead magnet, which is a freebie that you give away, and download it. And I needed all these other things, all these other bells and whistles. Long story short, that year I must have spent, I would say, about 80% of my free time working on the technology behind my business. And yet at the end of the year, when I looked at my clients and I looked at like where those clients came from, lo and behold, 0 came from my website, 0 came from my lead magnet, 0 clicked on my pop-up. Instead, they were people that I already knew, or people who knew people that knew me. In short, they were people who already knew, liked, and trusted me, because that's what people need to buy from you. They need to know, like, and trust you. So the first commandment of building a new service-based business: build relationships before technology. Everybody who buys from you is going to buy from you based on the relationship that they have with you. Think about it. The people who you've bought from, chances are they weren't someone who was just random. Maybe if it's a very low price offer, maybe. But most people you buy from are people that you already know through either from social circle or people who you've warmed up to through some sort of like online thing. Maybe you've started getting their emails and you've read a couple of their emails, or maybe you've seen them in some Facebook groups or in some other groups and you've warmed up to them and you've discovered that you know, like, and trust them. And this is where you need to be spending your time when you're just starting a business. You need to be spending it on building those relationships, on inviting people into your community to get to know you better, to nurturing them, to sharing more of your expertise with them so that they can know, like, and trust you. And the way not to do this is to spend all your time working on a website that nobody's going to go to, or working on pop-ups, or working on a sales funnel, right? The way to do this is through one-on-one outreach. In fact, I would say if you do nothing, if you only have 30 minutes a day because you're working a full-time job and you do nothing else, do this outreach every single day. Make relationship building your priority. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but if I don't have a website, if I don't have these things, if I don't have a logo, if I don't have branding, I'm not going to seem legit. And I hear you on that. And this comes down to this good old imposter syndrome, right? This idea that we have to have all the accoutrements to be taken seriously. Well, I'm going to tell you something. My friend Jen, who is a life coach, for the first 3 years that she was coaching full-time and making a living doing it full-time, she did not have a website. She didn't have anything. She just had a personal Facebook page. That was it. and she would build relationships regardless. It can be done. Often we hide behind the technology because we're actually afraid of reaching out to people. Tell me if that sounds familiar. This is basically what I was doing my first year. I hid behind technology because I was afraid. I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of bothering people. I was afraid of all these things that are perfectly normal and natural to be afraid of when you're starting a new business and when you're not used to doing these kinds of things. But here's the thing, other people, they're not afraid of hearing from you, and chances are you're not going to annoy them if you've got a service, if you've got something that can actually help them or the people that they love. So we get more into that later. So reach out to people. And if you're wondering, like, how do I reach out to people? Where do I find people to reach out to? I've got a freebie called How to Find Clients Despite a Tiny Mailing List. It's a 25-minute masterclass. The link is below. Check it out. It's going to show you 5 tactics to do exactly that, how to find clients despite the technology, without the technology. You know, a really good question that one of my coaches posed to a group that I was in one time was, how would you build your business if it was 1985? And I honestly think this is how everybody who's starting a new service-based business, because most service-based businesses are one-on-one, need to think. If it was 1985, we don't have the internet, we don't have Facebook, we don't have Instagram, we don't have Twitter, we don't have Snapchat, we don't have all these other things. And yet people were still building businesses. And how did they do it? They did it by reaching out. They did it by building relationships. They did it by inviting people to events and inviting people to phone calls. And again, this is what you need to do. The first commandment for new service-based entrepreneurs: build relationships before technology. Yes, you're going to build the technology anyway, but make that secondary. Don't make that your priority. All right, so if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Give this video some likes, some loves. Feel free to share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to download your free 25-minute masterclass, How to Find Clients Despite a Tiny Mailing List.